Alright, so part of my video got deleted, so we're gonna do it again. We were working inside of a parent, right? And last thing we did was that I added the page numbers down here. Right, so I'm gonna delete them and do it again. So first things first, we're gonna add a text box down here in this corner. And we're gonna name it like 28. Now that text box, I want it to align to the bottom, but I can't see those options. Let me full screen this. So I want it to align to the bottom, which is up here. Then I'm gonna go to properties and I wanna flush it to the left, which it is. Now I'm gonna press Option and drag to make that copy on the right hand side. And then I'm going to put 30 just to have something there. And now I want this to be aligned to the right, or flush to the right. Now I'm going to select this and I'm going up here. It says layout, oh not layout, sorry, type. And we're looking for a special character, right? And why can't I make that a character? Oh, maybe I need to select that. So object, we were in type. Insert special character, marker, and then make that special character a current page number, and it's done it. And it's going to turn into an A because we are on master page A. Now I'm going to go ahead and select this again and go type, insert special character, marker. Why won't you let me? Let's try that for the 4th time. Marker, current page number. And that is done. Now I'm going to click save, Command S to save, and then going back out, no, not here. I'm going back out to pages, and let's go to page 1. You guys are going to see that now it is on every page that we have applied that parent to, or master page. Now that says 1. If we go down, that'll say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, now to change view modes, all you gotta do is press W. This is gonna give you like a print preview, which is what this mode is more or less. And then this is so you can see where all you guides are sitting at. All right, now I want you guys to notice that I made the bottom slightly bigger than the top. And by that I mean like this down here though. Your margin to edge of paper, because we not only need to fit our page numbers down here, but maybe some important information that needs to go on page by page basis, and it gives us more of a cleaned up and fancy look. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save that. Alright, so let's go over kinds of grids real quickly. So the things that you need to know about grids is basically this is a column, it goes vertically, rows go horizontally, this is called a gutter, this is called an alley, but pretty much everybody just calls these gutters. They are what is in between your guides, right? If these are your modules, then these would be your gutter, and so forth. Your margins will be on the outside, and then your bleed will be on the outside of the actual paper, which is pretty straightforward. All right, we have 4 basic kinds of grids. We have manuscripts, columns, modules, and baselines. Okay, a manuscript grid is basically like any actual book you've ever read, where it's just lines of text going down. This would obviously be a spread, and this would be your middle of the both spreads. Then you have column grid or multi-columns. You can have as much as 6. It really depends on the kinds of information you're trying to distribute across. And like this says, is mainly used for articles with lots of information or different kinds of information so that you can section them out. Modular grid, remember, like I said at the beginning, this is called a module. And thus this is called a modular grid. Modular grid does not mean that the information just sits within one of these boxes. It really depends on the kind of information that you're trying to organize, right? Usually you do need some sort of visual hierarchy, some sort of separation between all of that information, meaning that some of your text could go like in this long column, and or we can go in these big kind of squares, and or lay like an image in just 1 or 2 or 4 and kind of move it around depending on what it is that we do need. Also, this is probably what most websites use, is some sort of table. Then we have baseline grid. Now, baseline grid, I feel like that's a very bad example of a baseline grid. Let's look at I can't type. Right, so baseline grid, kind of like, can I see? No, this is modular. This is kind of a little better. All right, so if you guys remember from typography, what it is to be on the baseline is to make your text touch that line, horizontal line going across. That line is your baseline, pretty much like how this touches the bottom. This works pretty well. Right, and in a baseline grid, obviously there are rules. Basically, for the most part, what you're doing is doubling, I don't know why I touched that, is doubling the size. Right, so we go 12, 24, 36. Right, your baseline grid is at 12 points. Meaning that 2 of these, if they were touching, would make one of these. And then add another 12 and it would make one of these. Right, and what it means is that as we are going across, that's a bad example also. Oh, why isn't there any good examples? Okay, does that touch? Yeah. All right, so all of these different types of writing are all on the same baseline. They're all touching the same baseline. And what this does is that it makes something beautiful like this, right? Where you can tell there's a grid and the information just flows well, which is essentially what you're doing. You're giving it a good flow. Let me see if there's any good other good examples. I mean, I think you guys get the point. All right, so let's go back to this InDesign file that I downloaded so that you guys could get the vibe more or less. We went ahead and we did the guides like we did in the other file. I wanted 6 by 5 and I wanted them in 10mm. Increments, right? Did that. Then I want my margins 10 millimeters. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. Now they're all even. We could have just unclicked that, but it's basically the same thing. And then I wanted the bottom to be double. Let's see what we got. So we've got 10 all around, do we? But what I don't want is these yet. Well, let me take them off. Let's see, layout margins. See if I can get it from here. So why margins are different. Okay, just layout. We don't want 0.5, we want 10 millimeters. Except for down here where we want 20. And bleed should stay the same. Alright. And then we're gonna go here. Margins. And gutters. We don't want any gutters yet. And let me allow no. Alright, so we go into our spread. That's what it should look like for all of them. So let's start putting our stuff in. Somehow this is not convincing me. I feel like it's not where it should be. That did not work. I don't want the margins. I want to move the guides, that's what I want. That's my 5. I'm gonna 10 millimeter gutter. Is that going to do it? Finally. Alright, so now it looks like it adds up. And it's not driving me insane. Alright. For me, this is the easiest one to work with, just because it's easy to look at. And then at a certain point, we'll go and add our baseline for our text. Alright, so let's go and add our masthead. Now, remember when I said all your assets should have been pre-built outside of this will look so good somewhere else. Alright. let's see. So remember to use the handle to move your stuff if you can't seem to move it. What I can do is also choose another image, one with more space on top. Although maybe what we need is to shrink this a little bit. Now what happened is that we didn't shrink it as a whole. We shrunk the mask on top of it. So control. Whatever, it's not doing it. So just do them separately and it'll still do it. You just gotta shrink. Why wouldn't it do it? That is so weird. It's being weird. So instead of doing that, let's just I wonder why it won't shrink. It disappears. Don't you love it when things work and don't work from 1 second to the other? So let's make a copy, let's say, of this. And I'm gonna call you Florida Man. And we're gonna find something. That screams Florida Man.